Famous for its red cars, the Pacific Electric Railway operated an extensive network in the Los Angeles area. In 1952, they celebrated their 50th anniversary and published a small brochure. I will read excerpts from the brochure as well as show some of the pictures that were in it. Stay tuned. First, some history. The name Pacific Electric first appeared on rail cars in Los Angeles in 1899. This was one of 72 separately owned rail lines, most of them short-lived, which sprang up from the time the first horse car franchise was granted in 1873 until the turn of the century. Henry E. Huntington, wealthy nephew of Collis P. Huntington, president of Southern Pacific, reorganized the Pacific Electric Railway Company in 1901, acquiring an interurban line to Pasadena and several local lines. However, Pacific Electric dates its origin from 1902 because it was in the spring of that year that Huntington began construction of the Long Beach Line, the Alhambra Line to San Gabriel, the Pasadena Short Line, and the extension of the Venice Short Line from Vineyard to Santa Monica. Most of the system's other major lines were built during the following decade. The Monrovia Line opened in 1903, reached Glendora in 1907. Lines to Glendale, Newport Beach, and San Pedro were opened in 1904. The Whittier Line was opened in the same year and reached Yorba Linda in 1911. The Santa Ana Line was opened in 1905. The Sierra Madre and Pasadena via Oak Knoll lines followed in 1906. A line to Covina opened in 1907, reached Pomona in 1911, and San Bernardino in 1914. The Van Nuys Line was opened, and the Glendale Line extended to Burbank in 1911. A unified interurban facility was created in 1911 with consolidation of the primary systems: Los Angeles Pacific, Los Angeles Redondo, Los Angeles Interurban, and Pacific Electric. Motor coaches were introduced by Pacific Electric in 1917 on the San Bernardino-Highland-Patton Line. In 1923, Pacific Electric and the Los Angeles Railway set up a joint operation known as the Los Angeles Motor Coach Company, which was split between the two companies in 1949. In 1930, Pacific Electric bought a 2/3 interest in the Interurban Motor Transit Company, and in 1936 purchased the other third interest from Greyhound. In 1939, these lines were wholly merged with Pacific Electric operations. The rehabilitation program of 1939-1940 further stimulated motor coach business when bus substitutions were made on 6 rail lines. During an 18-month period in 1950 to 1951, a $7 million modernization featured by the purchase of 199 new motor coaches for a further changeover from passenger rail service, construction of garage and terminal facilities, a new freight line from Azusa to Baldwin Park, and nearly complete dieselization of freight operations provided an impressive climax to a half-century of transportation service in Southern California. More than 100 million passengers a year carried by Pacific Electric. A network of Pacific Electric motor coach and rail lines radiates from downtown Los Angeles and serves some 125 cities and communities, crisscrossing through 4 Southern California counties: Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino. These passenger lines mapped in this booklet extend 70 miles east to Redlands, 44 miles south to Balboa, 17 miles west to Santa Monica, Ocean Park, and Venice, and 28 miles north to the city of San Fernando in the San Fernando Valley. Longest are the Long Beach Riverside Motor Coach Line, 61 miles, and the Los Angeles San Bernardino via Foothill Boulevard Motor Coach Line, 60.6 miles. Shortest is the Western Franklin Motor Coach Line in Hollywood, 2.7 miles. There are 38 motor coach lines and 8 passenger rail lines in the Pacific Electric system. Motor coach lines are divided into 5 districts: Northern, 9 lines; Southern, 3 lines; Western, 14 lines; Motor Transit, 9 lines; Los Angeles Motor Coach, 3 lines. The 8 rail lines are divided in the Southern and Western districts. The company began the year 1952 with 660 motor coaches and 203 passenger rail cars. In 1951, Pacific Electric carried 102,724,592 passengers and operated 29,070,735 vehicle miles. Motor coaches carried 65,962,520 passengers and were driven 21,860,729 miles over 1,021 highway route miles. Rail cars carried 36,762,072 passengers and were operated 7,210,006 miles. Of the company's 759 miles of track, 72 miles are exclusively for passenger service, 145 miles are common to passenger and freight service, and 542 miles are exclusively for freight service. On a typical weekday, Pacific Electric operates about 4,700 motor coach trips and 1,100 passenger rail trips. The Pacific Electric building houses the company's general offices and the 6th and Main Streets station. The brochure briefly discusses freight operations as follows. A vital contribution to the prosperity and growth of industry and commerce in Southern California is made daily by Pacific Electric Railway's freight service. With 900 industries and packing houses on its lines in Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties, Pacific Electric operated 8,094,256 freight car miles in 1951 and handled about 180,000 loaded cars over its 687 miles of freight tracks. Carloads of freight are interchanged daily with transcontinental carriers through Pacific Electric's Butte Street and State Street yards in Los Angeles and yards in San Bernardino and Colton. Pacific Electric serves the harbors of Los Angeles and Long Beach expeditiously. The Harbor Beltline Railroad is the operating agency at Los Angeles Harbor for Pacific Electric and the 3 transcontinental rail carriers in this industry, covering industries, canneries, steamship docks, and berths at San Pedro, East San Pedro, and Wilmington. Pacific Electric is the operating agency at Long Beach Harbor on behalf of itself and the 3 transcontinental railroads. Augmenting the company's electric and gasoline-electric locomotives are 21 diesel-electric units recently placed in operation as a step toward complete dieselization. Pacific Electric is active in a perpetual encouragement of industrial development in Southern California and has been successful in locating a number of new industries on its lines. Under the title Keeping 'em Rolling, the brochure continues. Behind every motor coach operator and trainman are 800 experienced mechanics and maintenance workers in strategically located repair and reconditioning shops. They keep in safe and efficient running condition the 660 buses, 203 passenger rail cars, 30 box motors, 73 freight cars, 26 cabooses, and 56 locomotives owned and operated by Pacific Electric. Principal motor coach shops are located in the recently remodeled Macy Street Garage and the new Ocean Park Garage. Rail equipment overhauling is done at the sprawling Torrance Street shops, spread over 46 acres and composed of 13 buildings, 3 of which are 400 feet long and 200 feet wide. Equally important to the efficient operation of Pacific Electric's passenger and freight equipment are other departments. The schedule makers, who keep a constant check on passenger service, the communications department, which keeps over 700 telephones in working order, and experts in the fields of engineering, electricity, research, accounting, law, personnel, employee training, traffic safety, industrial planning, and public relations. The combined efforts of these experts, coordinated by an executive staff with know-how gained by years of experience, assure efficient service. This would be the last anniversary that Pacific Electric would celebrate. A year later, their passenger operations were sold to the Metropolitan Coach Lines. 5 years after that, Metropolitan Coach Lines would in turn sell the remaining system to the Los Angeles Metropolitan Transportation Authority, which in turn abandoned the last rail line in 1961.
Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to this channel.